Oh, well, actually in today's video we're going to look at weather for the next few days today. We've got some quite interesting weather coming up actually. Looks so we're going to be seeing some really warm weather. I did a video about it yesterday. Going to get warmer over the next 2 or 3 days. Could get really quite hot in the southeast as we go through into Wednesday. Temperatures potentially up to 29 or 30 degrees. That seems to be 80s Fahrenheit, so really very warm indeed. But with that there's going to be an increased risk of thunderstorms. I think we'll see some big storms as we go through into the middle of the week. Now it's only a brief sort of hot spell, and then we're going to find the heat clearing away with the storms to the east. It's going to turn much more unsettled and cooler off the Atlantic as we go into the end of the week and the weekend. So this hot spell, it's only a brief sort of plume. It isn't going to last very long. Perhaps the classic sort of couple of 5 days of thunderstorm type scenario. Actually, now before I get on with the video, I just want to mention advertising. There's keyword ads on all my pages at GazWeatherVids.com. You can roll your cursor over those green words and they'll display ads. If you click through the ad to the advertising website, you'll be supporting GazWeatherVids.com. And thanks very much for doing it. So we're going to start off with radar picture. It was a bit caught out this morning actually with some light rain across many parts of the Midlands down in towards Wales and then up in towards Northern Ireland around northwestern coast of northern England. Wasn't really expecting that, but it is dying out through the recording in any case. So we see that the rain is fizzling out through those central parts of England. Certainly through the Midlands and Wales, rain is fizzling out. Still got some heavy rain down across the southwest. And we've still got some quite heavy rain running through the Channel and along the south coast. That could be producing some cracks of thunder in a few places. Also got some rain around the Isle of Man up in towards the Northern Ireland. But really it's an improving sort of scene across many central parts of England through the course of today. The rain will increasingly turn lighter and patchier and die out, but that rain down along the south coast, I think that will continue for much of the day, and it will be quite heavy at times. This is the chart for today from the GFS blog. We've got low pressure sitting to the south of the country. That's bringing all the heat into central parts of Europe on the eastern side of that low pressure, also bringing a very much increased risk of thunderstorms to France during the course of today. Risk of high pressure actually over the British Isles, but this low pressure is trying to push up from the south, and that's really the battle that's going on through the rest of the week, or certainly the first part of the week, with that low pressure trying to come up from the south. Look how hot it is across central parts of Europe with the upper air temperatures. We've got the 20 Celsius isotherm there stretching from France in towards Germany. Temperature there, Central Europe could well be up to around 33, 34 degrees today, into the 90s Fahrenheit. Really hot temperatures across central parts of Europe today. And later on this week, certainly getting through to around the middle of the week, some southeastern and eastern parts of Europe could be seeing temperatures up to 38 degrees or more. That's over 100 Fahrenheit. So if you want to see more about what's going on across Europe, check out my European weekend forecast on my Europe page and get to that from the links tab. Go up to the drop down menu and you'll be able to get to the European page from there. Really hot temperatures coming up this week across central parts of Europe, but for us we're just on the periphery of the heat really, but we are pulling in some of that hot air into the east and the south of the country as the week goes on. And today we see we've got 10 Celsius isotherm here coming up across central parts of England in towards the south and the southeast. There's the storms across France today, going to be really quite thundery, and I say both storms are threatening the south coast with the areas of heavy rain threatening the south coast, but probably not really making too much impact today. Convective potential shows that there's some really high Cape readings across many parts of France and Central Europe as well, just putting that convective potential onto the south coast, but not really going much further than that. Temperatures are lifting up a bit compared to yesterday. It's going to be a little bit more humid, but really nothing to write home about. These temperatures around 20, 21 degrees. Look how hot it is across central parts of Europe with temperatures there widely into the 30 Celsius, the 90 Fahrenheit mark. So really warm there. As I said, we're on the periphery of the heat, but it is warmer than it has been, and that will be the trend over the next few days. A lot of cloud though around, and that's going to have the potential of just limiting the heat, I think, quite a bit over the next day or two. Now, as we go into Tuesday, the high pressure is sitting up to the northeast of the country, the thundery low down to the south, so everything is maintained really. The low pressure is trying to threaten southern areas, but it's not really making much impact. But we are pulling hotter air into the country on Tuesday, the 10 Celsius isotherm there covering all of England and Wales, trying to bring the 15 Celsius isotherm onto the east coast of East Anglia and South East England. Now, this hot air is overrunning very cool waters in the North Sea, so that could be producing producing a lot of mist and low cloud actually on the east coast. I say cloud could well be the fly in the ointment with this, and it could well limit the potential that these upper air temperatures do imply. For precipitation, rainfall on Tuesday, well, chance of some thundery showers, maybe some thunderstorms down across South Wales and southwestern England and along the Channel as well. Many northern east areas of the country actually dry, but I say rather cloudy scene. Convective potential is generally still on the continent on Tuesday, but I think some of those showers could well produce thunder across Wales and southwestern parts of England then. Temperatures lifting up on Tuesday, we're into the mid-20s Celsius by then, so around the 77 Fahrenheit mark, depending on sunshine, of course. Look how much cooler it is along the east coast. That's because that hot those hot upper air temperatures are overrunning the very cold North Sea legacy from the winter, and that really does limit the heat potential on the east coast, because we have a lot of low cloud, potentially mist and fog as well. And just how much cloud we've got going on across the rest of the country is really the big question with this. Potentially it could get very warm, but we have got a lot of potential for cloud. Now Wednesday is the day when we've got the risk of the thunderstorms, I think, coming up from the south. That's when the low pressure starts to make its move and push in from the south. Also got low pressure sitting to the southeast of the country as well. Upper air temperatures on Wednesday again showing that we've got the hot air coming onto the eastern coast of England. Very warm upper air temperatures for the rest of the country away from Scotland. And yes, we've got the risk of thunderstorms there across parts of England and Wales through the course of Wednesday afternoon. Particularly this is suggesting for southeast England, southern England, but it's a bit far out really to be too precise with the detail. Generally just the risk of storms pushing up from the south and the east through the course of Wednesday. The Cape for Wednesday, the convective potential showing that yes, have got a good degree of convective potential through the middle of the week, so any showers, storms that do develop will be of a thundery nature. They will almost certainly have thunder and lightning in with them. Look how much convective potential there is across Central, virtually off the scale there over Germany. And the temperatures through the middle of the week, well, this is suggesting up to 27, 28. It's dependent on sunshine, as I've already explained. If you get the sun, you could well lift that up even more to around 30 degrees around London. That's 86 Fahrenheit. But it's very much dependent on cloud and sunshine amounts. In any case, it's going to be very warm and humid and sticky. Look at the heat across Germany, and that heat is being pulled in over the North Sea into the British Isles around that thundery area of low pressure. Germany up to 35, 36 degrees, well into the 90s Fahrenheit. It's not going to get that hot, but that's the sort of air that is associated with this thundery area of low pressure. As we move through into Tuesday on the East MWF, we've got the low pressure sitting to the south of the country. That pushes northwards on Wednesday. Wednesday is the day when the action really takes place across England and Wales, I think. And look how that low pressure is sitting there across England and Wales as we go into midnight on Thursday. That's a very thundery area of low pressure. I think could be producing some really violent thunderstorms and torrential rain for England and Wales. And then as we go into Friday, that low pressure is pushing off into the North Sea. We're in a much cooler northwesterly airflow by then. The GEM, again, it's the same idea of a low pressure moving up from the south as we go into Wednesday, so that by midnight Wednesday into Thursday, the low pressure is sitting right over the top of England and Wales, no doubt producing a lot of heavy rain and thunderstorms. By the time we get through to midnight Friday, that low pressure is pushing off into the North Sea. So Wednesday to Thursday, that's the thundery period coming up. That's when the temperatures will be at their peak, I think. And we have the greatest risk of thunderstorms. As we go beyond that, just have a quick look at the weekend. It looks like it's going to turn much more unsettled and cooler into the weekend, with this area of low pressure moving in off the Atlantic on the GFS bowl, so that by the time we get through to Sunday, the low pressures as a dartboard feature sitting right over the top of the country, very cool and unsettled with showers or longer spells of rain. And the East MWF, very similar idea for the weekend. That low pressure moves in off the Atlantic on Saturday, sitting right over the top of the country. As we go into Sunday, no doubt producing quite a bit of rain and much cooler temperatures as well. So this heat going to be a little mini heat wave through Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly into Thursday. Temperatures may top out at around 30 degrees if you get a good deal of sunshine, but cloud amounts are going to be the important factor with the heat potential. Does the cloud break enough to let the sun through to lift those temperatures up as high as the upper air temperatures suggest they could go That's a big question mark. And then the risk of thunderstorms coming up from the south through the middle of the week. Could be some really interesting weather, some big storms, violent lightning, and very heavy rainfall as well. So lots going on. I'll be doing more updates about it over the next few days. So if you get into the time frame of the storms, the Storm Watch page for people want to keep an eye on. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching.